Welcome in live to Prejean's for the latest edition of the GP. Are you with me? Carencro Coaches Show live from Prejean's each and every week, and of course, live on the Carencro Bears Network. I have the guest of an hour to my left, Coach Gavin Peters, fresh off 63-42 victory where Carencro was able to get to 2-2 on the season.
Yeah, man, definitely was. It felt good to have a good night of offensive production. I was a little disappointed though because we got a kid ATL. We call him ATL. His name is Deshaun Jenkins. Well, you can imagine where he transferred from Atlanta, so that's his nickname, ATL. And I heard him make a comment in the locker room. Man, we scored 63 points. Man, that was awesome. That was crazy. And I said, man, we used to do that on the regular. We used to do that on a regular. And then I thought about it. Well, we never had a game like that a year ago, right? I think the most we scored was 37 versus Sam Houston. We looked it up. 37 versus Sam Houston, then 33 versus Zachary, where the year before we averaged 49 points per game until that last game versus Acadiana in the second round where we scored 7 points, which dropped our average from 49 points to 45 points. And we still had the school record for most points in the game in the total season. So, was happy to see us kind of get back to that type of production because, I tell kids, that's what we work. That's what I work for 12 months out of the year, to be able to go out there and put some points on the board, and be able to go out there and produce. And, it's just unfortunate that a year ago, we never quite got to that point, but we're able to kind of get to it this past Friday. And, hopefully there's more opportunities for us down the line.
It was a balanced attack, Coach. 549 yards, a total offense, 245 on the ground, 304 through the air. And a couple guys got to contribute through the air. You started the game with a trick play where Kendrick Bernard threw the football down the field. And opening kickoff, you had a trick play in as well. It seems like you were kind of going into your bag early and often. What was it about the game plan that made you want to do that? To spark plug the offense? Or?
Well, the kickoff return was Coach Joey Dwyer. He did a great job of scouting them in preparation. We need to do a better job of making sure our kids were prepared to go out there and execute it, which I think we took some steps in the right direction with some of that this week. I think we had the right thought there. We just didn't execute it the way it needed to be executed, which we're going to take the responsibility of that as coaches. We thought that we could have did a better job of preparing them, for that moment. And the very first play of the game, yes, that was scripted. That was designed all the way. We call that play Notre Dame. We got that play from Notre Dame, so that's why we call it Notre Dame. And Notre Dame I went to their semifinal game versus St. Charles a couple years back, and they opened up the game with that play. I went to another maybe regular season game versus Welsh maybe about 6 or 7 years ago, and they opened up with that play. And I finally told Lou, I said, say, bro, you got to send that to me, man. You got to send that to me. I got to see what it's about. So we run it out of a few different sets, but we call that play Notre Dame. So I kind of held it close to the vest all week, but I knew we were opening it up with Notre Dame, and I kind of passed it by the guys, late Thursday and all the other day on Friday. I'm like, y'all good with opening it up with Notre Dame? They're like, yeah. So I told Lou. So Lou was texting my wife like, hey, did they open up with the play? How did it work out? And she didn't quite know what he was talking about. So it's kind of pretty cool on the inside. But yeah, we opened up with Notre Dame, and it's a good play, man. Good play, good situation, and we were able to get off to a good start. Duff had to sell it better, and I actually told him about that today. When we were at practice, he needed to do a little bit better job of selling it. We call it speed to power. When you start blocking out there on the perimeter, there's speed, and then you got to break down. We call it to a crab walk position and get ready to power. So you got to speed to power, and once that corner commits, that's when you release. So we need to do a better job of executing it. I always tell the kids a positive play with negative technique will not beat the good teams. And not necessarily Barb was a great team, but we want to have flawless and perfection in everything that we do. That was actually the post-practice speech to the quarterbacks and running backs today, that you always hit a level underneath what you strive for. If you strive to be perfect, then you're probably going to be great. If you strive to be great, you're going to be good. Strive to be good, you're going to be average. And I told them that we come out here every day and we're searching for perfection. So on that play, we want to be able to execute a little bit better. But nonetheless, it ended up being positive for us, and we ended up getting off to a good start in that game. And I think we scored on 9 out of 10 possessions. 9 out of 10 possessions we scored. That's crazy. That's ATL's parents right there. We were just talking about ATL. That's crazy.
Kendrick Bernard, huh? What a throw by the senior wide receiver with pressure in his face. Kid didn't do it all the time. He was able to
Tell
get
you
the
what,
football.
most people don't know this, man. KB can throw that thing, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Are you watch him, when we just messing around in practice and things of that nature, KB can throw it, and he's not only can he, he's got a nice release. He's got a nice spiral, KB's a pretty good athlete, man. KB's a pretty good athlete. So and he's having a good year too. And I didn't realize this until we were kind of looking at some things this past weekend. KB is third all time in the program in receptions. I think that's pretty cool and pretty good honor for him. And kind
more to come there too.
Sir,
more to come.
Absolutely, yes, sir, absolutely. And I told him, make sure we got some gratitude for that.
Running the football, you made it very clear last week. You wanted to be more physical. You wanted to get the running backs involved in the running game. You said you had to be better at the running back position, and you got 3 guys really contribute to the run game, led by Kylan Taylor. The sophomore had 14 carries for 77 yards, and it was his best game as a Carencro Bear. That's the Kylan Taylor that we would keep waiting to see. He looked fluid through the cuts. He ran through arm tackles. If we get that version of Kylan Taylor, Coach, I think this offense could take it another level.
Yes, but it's a collective unit. I really, really enjoy the group that we have right now. They're very fun to coach. We coach them hard, right? And it's probably not fun dealing with me every day. And they just keep coming back, man. They keep coming back and want more. And, I think they understand that it's not personal. It's business, right? And when we're out there in between those lines, it's business, and we got to go out there and we got to perform. And, I told those guys I was disappointed that a year ago we went into the all-district meeting and there wasn't one Carencro running back that was nominated for all-district. I'm like, man, when is the last time a running back from Carencro High School was not nominated to be an all-district player? And I challenged them on that, in exit meetings and, throughout the whole offseason. And, that's not the standard of Carencro football, the way we operated a year ago. And I don't think it's the way we've operated so far this year, too, for the most part. But it was, it was positive to see us take a step in the right direction this past week and finally run the ball for over 200 yards. I mean, we're not running the football for over 200 yards. I mean, it's not us, bro. It's not us.
And you mentioned all 3 backs. They all give you a little something.
And look, when we go, I'm going to make a joke. So we always go through, the coaches after we practice on Thursday. We go in the coach's office and we put top 3 run plays and top 3, pass plays, and we get everybody's opinion. And I always put nicknames up there in his acronyms. And, I think one of them was it was WCRTJ, and it was We Can't Run the Ball Joey. You know what I'm saying? And then the other one was just replace the J with an F. We Can't Run the Ball Fred. So that was kind of the joke last week. And then they said, oh, no, we got you. You can't win Bandit Drill Peters. I said, all right, I got that. Y'all right. So let's put that up there. So nonetheless, when we went in the office today after practice, RJ was back up there. No, I think I might have said something else, but Rabbit Joe and Rabbit Fran is back, baby. We ran the football last week, so kind of eased off those guys a little bit.
And those backs all give you something. I know we talked about Kylan Taylor, but Chris Bayham gives you a little lightning. Cartier Baptiste maybe more of the balance of the 3. Talk about collectively as a group. You think these guys have potential to take it to the next level and continue this kind of running game momentum?
As long as they continue to work hard, compete, and do things the right way and show up, we're going to consistently get better on a week in and week out basis, on a day in and day out basis. I just mentioned that how fun these guys are to coach. So I expect them to take the next step as we go forward. And I'm going to tell you what, man, we got a freshman by the name of Segan Woods. He had 4 touchdowns last night in sub-varsity play, and the only reason why he didn't score a 5th one was because the referee stopped us from doing it. That's the only reason why he didn't score a 5th one, So, man, I love me some Segan Woods. As of right now, he's one of the funnest players that I've ever had the opportunity to coach, man. He shows up every day. He works his tail off. Back in the 90s and 2000s, Carencro had some helmet stickers that just said hard. Okay, and we just recently discovered them within the last couple of weeks. They were still in the equipment room. So when me and Coach Rip met this past Monday, I asked him what did hard mean, and he said hard. It meant what it meant. That was the word back in the day. You had to be hard. You had to, guys were able to be coached hard. They played hard. They practiced hard. They operated hard. Segan Woods is hard. Segan Woods is hard. I'm a big fan of Segan Woods, and he's another name that you might as well start throwing up in there because that young man can play some football, and we're gonna put him out there on the field.
Chance to see him on Friday nights this season?
Absolutely. All right. Absolutely. Yes, sir.
Well, look, if you're going to run the football as well as you did on Friday night, that means the offensive line did their job. And you've been critical of that group and talked about their need to get better and be tougher. Talk about their performance on Friday and what you think that means going forward.
Step in the right direction. We're still not satisfied with the with the efficiency. You know, a positive play, I think I might have said this already, a positive play with negative technique would not be the good team. And that's just a standard, and that's just a commandment for us. That's not saying that any of the teams that we haven't played aren't good teams, because every team that we've played is a blue blood program, right? But, you know, we just don't like the way we did it. You know, we just don't like the way we did it. You know, we want to be more crisper with our execution. We want to be flat back on our double teams. We want to get our hat play side. You know, your hat should always be between the defender and the football. You know, we got to come off a better pad level. We want to see more individual finishes. You know, we're used to guys like Israel Jolivet taking people to the track. You know, we're used to Quinn Collins actually, like, destroying people's will. You know, Ty Mayfield, you know, Javon Miller, Gregory Bush. You know, that list is long in just my tenure here at Carencro. That's what we're used to, and that's what the standard and expectation. And we still don't have nobody operating that way. We're used to Ryan Perry dominating the edge, absolutely dominating and destroying the edge. Blake Lacombe, my first year here, was a first-team All-District tight end at 175 pounds, dominated the edge. Cameron Cyprian, to this day, is the best mid-skill player I've ever coached, the only first-team All-District player on both sides of the football in the history of Carencro football. Dominated the edge. We've got to get back to dominating the edge with the tight end. We ain't done it in 2 years. You know, so, you know, there's some things that we got to improve on, and we're challenging those guys on that, right? I mean, we're challenging those guys on that, and they're getting better week by week. D-Race James has kind of given us, a little bit of a spark there, and Jalen Roberts keeps showing up, so I expect those guys to continue to, develop and get better at that spot. But it's still not to the level of what the standard of Carencro football is up front and in the backfield, or offensively totally as a whole. And we're going to continue to work to be that.
Well, efficient you were through the passing game, Coach. 8 of 12 for the game, 304 yards. Of course, 63 of those came from Kendrick Bernard on the opening play. But Carson Gursey, I know we keep talking about the young man, but 7 for 11, 241 yards, no interceptions, and he played a heads-up game, got the ball to the playmakers in space, allowed them to make plays. Talk about his progression as he continues to develop.
What I want Carson to do a better job of is executing the easy things. It's kind of backwards right now. Like, he's executing the hard things and not executing the easy things, And there's still you probably won't see it with the naked eye, but he's still got a lot of sophomore in him. He's still got a lot of sophomore in him, even though he don't look like a sophomore, body-wise, and even his play. And even if you hear him speak, it doesn't sound like a sophomore, but the reality of it is some of his choices and decisions that he's making out there on the field, he's still got a lot of sophomore in him. And the only thing that can kind of fix that is just maturation and experience, But thank the world of Carson. As I mentioned before, he's kind of turned into my best friend. I'm almost kind of getting mad at him right now because I don't see him that much during the school day. I see him every morning, obviously, what's up, ET? See him in the morning, obviously, and we spend some time together and, watch film from the previous day or, kind of review some installs or talk about some things. But Carson's special, Carson's special. But we've got to do a better job with him of executing the easy things.
And this is our part of the week where we get to talk about Chance Babineau. He tied the all-time leading touchdown receptions. He's second all-time in receptions overall. He had 4 catches for 192 yards in the game. By the way, he also had 4 catches for 192 yards in the first half. Yeah. So now I get to ask you why you went away from him in the second half. But just talk about Chance and how explosive he is. And the balls in the air is his. It's his football, and he knows what to do with it once he catches it.
Chance is special, man. I think I want to go it on, and I told Pettis, if he was in our fraternity and we're giving him a line name, we call him the Smooth Criminal. And I thought about it, we're going to use the Carencro C, and that's his nickname now, Chance the Smooth Criminal Babineau. He is just smooth and flawless out there on that field, man. He makes everything look, so effortless, and, just very blessed to be able to coach that young man the last 4 years. And, I told him back then, and I'll tell him again right now, he saved my job. Coming into his freshman year, we didn't have a lot of good skill players at the time, and, we're kind of hurting in that area, and he was able to step up and provide that for us and, led us on, a semifinal run and one of the best, seasons in the history of the school. Until this day, that's the most funnest team I've ever coached that year. because DNA-wise, we probably shouldn't have accomplished what we accomplished, but that team had a lot of discipline. That team had a lot of experience. And when you pair that up, with really good coaching and really good scenarios and luck, obviously, right? You got to be lucky in a lot of aspects. You're able to kind of put some good things together. And that was a very fun team to coach, and that was Chance Babineau's freshman year when he broke a lot of records in the receiving category, and he had to play quarterback for us the next 2 years, which he broke even more records, right? But this year we were able to kind of get him back to what he enjoys doing the most, which is being an athlete. And, we don't quite move him around as much anymore as we did his freshman year, but a part of that is because we've got, qualities players surrounding him, in a lot of aspects, So, we don't quite move him around as much anymore. He's kind of more so primarily an outside receiver this year. But, he's been big time and he's been outstanding, and I expect him to continue to be. And just want him to continue to work hard or, even maybe work a little bit harder, compete, do things the right way, what I always say, and take care of his business in the classroom so that he can move on and continue his career on the next level.
And you do know that he plays in the second half, right? Do I need to talk to Coach Joey, Coach Tolliver? Who do we need to talk to? Because he was on the field in the second half. I just want to make sure you understand.
Yeah. Look, it's just the way things go, man. Because it's kind of funny. People, act like we only call plays for chance. And all of that. And I can't tell you why he didn't touch the ball in the second half.
I got to give you a hard time, Coach.
When we got back in the office, I actually said that. I kind of looked. I said, "Whoa, did Chance touch the ball in the second half?" And they said, "No, Coach, he didn't." I said, "Man, that's crazy."
And you're still able to score.
Yeah, I thought he had about 200 in the first half. Which was a little bit slightly under. But it's just the way the game flow, man. Like we don't necessarily, we just call the game and we operate the game. The way it flows. Obviously we go in with the plan and we try to do a good job of taking advantage of what the opposing team is giving us. And I think we did a good job of running the football in the second half, obviously, and that's probably why it ended up that way.
And look, on defense,
Carson only threw the ball 11 times. So I think we.
All right, I'll stay in my place, Coach. I won't give you a hard time about that again.
Yeah.
Look, on defense, he really made the play too, right? To kind of seal the deal and stunt the offense of the Bucks. He has such a knack for knowing where the football's going to be, and he just read the play like a book.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm gonna tell you another one though, who I'm excited about. In my mind, I've already labeled him Baby Bab. Dentrell Morrison, a kid who's come out to the team this year from the basketball program. We played him on the defense side of the ball last night versus New Iberia. He had 2 interceptions. I think he's touched the ball maybe about 6 or 7 times, when we're able to get it to him on Wednesdays in sub-varsity. And out of those 6 or 7 times, he scored 4. You and I have broadcasted basketball games, and I, developed a lot of respect for that young man, from afar. Him and Lots just came back one day this summer, and I'm so glad they did come back. Lots came back, and Dentrell came out, and I'm so happy to have that kid to be a part of our program. And I think, he's got some Chance Babineau-esque, features about him, very instinctive, great hands. He's got a lot of toughness. So watch out for Dentrell Morrison going forward, too.
Before we wrap up this segment of the GP Are You With Me Carencro Coaches Show, of course, live on the Carencro Bears Network, I want to talk about the defense. It was not a performance that's going to be up to par. It's below the standard that we know. But I got to say, I think the game was a little mental for him. We were in position to make the plays at times. A lot of missed tackles, things you can clean up.
Yeah, we've, very rarely are we going to be out of position, right? Our guys do a phenomenal job of game planning and have a tremendous wealth of experience and knowledge. So very rarely are we not going to be in the right schematical situation. But at the end of the day, this is a game of execution. The scheme and the coaches, don't necessarily matter if you're not able to execute it out there on the field. And we got to do a better job of executing out there on the field. And the number one thing that, we identified this in the spring. And we worked our tails on it all summer long, and we're still working our tails on it. But we got to tackle better. We got to tackle better. I was at a New Year's Eve party with my boys from STM a couple years ago, and, Coach Tidwell was there, and, we're all kind of – we're at Coach Struther's treehouse, and we're all kind of sitting up at the top and just, kind of fellowshipping and socializing. And, Coach Struther asked Coach Tidwell, he said, Coach Tidwell, you've been coaching longer than any of us have been alive, and you've coached more games than anybody in this area besides Coach Hightower. If there was one thing you got to do to be a good defense, what is it? And he said tackle. You know, and when we played STM last week in sub-varsity, I told him that. I said, Coach, I mean, you're spot on. Like, if you can't tackle, you're not going to be very good defensively. And we're just missing way too many tackles. You know, way too many tackles. That's our problem on kickoff too, right? You know, that's why we give up the kickoff return. It's not necessarily, you know, because of the schematic of the kickoff. It's, I mean, we got to make plays. We got to make the tackles, you know. So the punt return, Braylon Allen, right? We missed 5-6 tackles. You know, BJ's first run against LCA. I don't think there was a touchdown versus LCA where we didn't miss 4 or 5 tackles or, you know, bust a coverage. You know, we busted one coverage on Allen, who just recently committed to Oklahoma.
Saw that this
morning.
morning.
By the way. It was funny leading up into that game. I'm watching film, and I texted the guys in the group. I said, there's no way he's stepping on Tulane's campus. Just absolutely no way. Coach Hank Tierney from Shaw called me, you know, trying to get the lowdown on him, and you know, they actually beat him this past week. I mean, I told Coach Hank, I said, look, Coach Hank, he's committed to Tulane, but no, he's an SEC player, brother. He's an SEC player. He's one of the best in the country. You know, but we just got to do a better job of tackling, man. We got to do a better job of tackling. We got to do a better job of executing, and then we'll see some improvement.
Wait, before we throw it to break, I got to show you something cool, Coach. Our guy, Benji Doesitell, has learned how to go back and do instant replay.
Heard we doing instant replay.
So I think we're going to get to watch a couple plays from Friday night now, and you can kind of tell us what you think about it.
Absolutely.
As our guy Benji was.
I used to watch Neville do that. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Benji was Johnny on the spot. We got to watch touchdowns back. We got to see the interception by Bab, the big run by Duffy, too, breaking all the tackles. And it's been
that night. So, I mean, it's
always
good.
When
but
it comes off of a W, it's a little different.
It's a little bit easier.
Guernsey back under center. Hands the football off to Taylor. He's going to whip it back to Duffy. Duffy's going to cut it back towards the middle of the field, looking for running room. It's another man miss. Now he's going to get it to this far sideline to the 20. Going to juke back.
You know, Duffy runs the football, and he plays the game of football like he plays the game of basketball. You know, and Coach Joey was calling out different dribble terms and crossovers and stuff like that, and I thought about it. I'm like, man, you're absolutely right. So big play by Duffy right there to kind of ice the game and put us in a situation to, you know, get that last touchdown and kind of put the game out of Barb's reach. We just got to have better ball security out of him right there.
Hey, pretty cool, huh? Got to see the replay.
Absolutely. I want some more. We got some more.
Right in front of you, huh? Right in front of you. We're going to step aside for the first time tonight. When we come back, Damien Handy of the Louisiana Cubs is going to join us and tell us all about the future of Carencro in the youth right here on your home for Carencro High football, Carencro Bears.
That was a tease, Blaine. You can't put no film in front of me like that in just one clip, man.
Big for the small.
Are you ready to launch your future? Welcome to the Academy of Information Technology at Carencro High School, the premier magnet academy for cutting-edge education in computer science, information technology, and media arts. Dive into a world where your interests come alive. In AOIT, you'll explore technology like never before, mastering essential skills in HTML and Python while gaining hands-on experience in daily TV production and innovative media projects. Our partnership with LSU and affiliation with the National Academy Foundation means you'll receive top-tier computer science education. Imagine leaving the academy with industry-standard credentials from Microsoft, Adobe, and CompTIA, plus a stunning portfolio that showcases your skills. Don't just dream about the future, create it. Follow your passion in tech and join AOIT today. Apply now at LafayetteChoice.com/apply. Your future starts here.
All right, Carencro fans, it's football season. That means it's time for the GP Are You With Me? Carencro Coaches Show. This season, we're bringing it live to you from a Carencro staple right here at Prejean's off of the Evangeline Thruway. We're going to be live each and every week. For Friday night games, the show's going to be on Thursday nights. For those Thursday night kicks, we'll be live on Wednesday nights, 6:30 to 7:30. You can hear it all at one place, the Carencro Bears Network.
Never been been a better time to buy a new Super Duty pickup from Hub City Ford. Right now, get $7,000 off MSRP on a 2025 Ford Super Duty. Need to pull a heavy load? It's the perfect truck with best-in-class towing and torque, and it's loaded with advanced technology. And with 42 acres, Hub City Ford's got a huge selection. Save big on a brand new Super Duty. $7,000 off MSRP.
Hub City Ford, I-49 North, Lafayette.
Let's get it over, right?
It's that time of year. Spice up your Saturday Bear style. Join us for the 4th annual Bear Takedown Club Jambalaya Cook-Off. On Saturday, October 11th, from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., the flavor explodes at Pokey's Poorhouse on 115 Derrick Plaza Drive in Carencro, Louisiana. Unlimited tastings for just a $10 donation. That's right, all the jambalaya you can eat for only $10. Think you got the winning recipe? Grab your crew of 4 for only $100 and cook your way to bragging rights. Judging kicks off at 12. But that's not all. We've got a 50-50 raffle, a live and silent auction, and a rowdy cornhole tournament to keep the good times rolling. Mark your calendar, October 11th, 8 to 2. Bring your appetite, bring your friends, and bring your Cajun spirit. For more information, scan the QR code on the screen, and we hope to see you there. Let's go, Bears!
Welcome back on the Carencro Bears Network. Live from Prejean is the GP. Are you with me? Carencro Coaches Show. And I have Mr. Damien Handy sitting beside me of the Louisiana Cubs, the president of the Louisiana Cubs, former all-district and all-state offensive lineman from Acadiana High. He joined forces with Gavin and was able to create a really cool organization for the youth football in the city of Carencro. Tell us about how that thought and that process came up between you and Gavin.
Well, it really originated when me and my wife returned from Houston back to the area. And I was looking to get into coaching to see what that would be like, because to me, if it was any time to do that, it would be now. So I sat down, had the conversation, and the Louisiana Cubs was presented. And from there, the vision was sold. We got the proper people together, and we ran with it.
But you don't just have a passion for coaching. You have a passion for the youth.
Correct.
And helping the younger generation, you know, the up-and-comers, maybe not yet in middle school, not yet in high school. You're able to help mold and shape those young men and give them an opportunity. What is it that's so special about dealing with that age group for you?
You get to see them as they progress through the learning stages of not just football, but also in life. And I felt that I was perfect for this role. Because in my previous roles, I worked with F&A. I worked with gridiron football, doing head referee stuff, helping them organize the league and things of that nature. And then when I moved away from the area and went to Houston, I kind of left that behind and was looking to get back in touch with that side of football. So it's really just seeing them mature through their lives and also through football.
And you guys pulled this together very quickly, and it was needed. You know, KSI no longer a thing in the area. The youth needed somewhere to play. They had a couple other organizations around here, but you combined forces with Ray Angel, and you were able to kind of pull this thing together and pull in a bunch of kids in a short period of time. Talk about us and how that transpired, and you and Ray were able to do that.
Ray Angel and I, we have a very, very good relationship. We speak on a daily basis about all things Louisiana Cubs, about how we can be better, what we can put in place to be better. And then from the first day we met and spoke about the Louisiana Cubs, we forged the path, and we began to run with that. But like you mentioned, we pulled it together pretty fast. I believe we opened registration in May, made the announcement that we were merging the Louisiana Cubs and the Ravens, and we were going to be playing under the Louisiana Cubs name. And then from there, everything just really popped. Like Ray mentioned, for youth night, we have 125 kids, 25 flag and 100 tackle kids, which is a pretty great turnout for our inaugural season.
And look, you guys have a bunch of people from Carencro helping. I know I saw Brian Black on gel.
Yes,
I
sir.
saw Lyle Woods,
Yes, sir.
Ray on gel. What does that mean to have those guys that are so, invested in the community as part of the organization to help bring everybody together?
Our main goal is to make the football in this area better. So what better way than to incorporate guys who have played on these fields, given the time, given their all to the program, that will be able to speak to our young men in the program to tell them what it really means to be a Carencro Bear, what it means to step foot on this field and play for this community.
I thought it was cool at Youth Night last week to see all the kids.
Yes.
So excited, running out with the team, on the sideline. I think we need to do more of that. Have the kids
100%.
involved in the program. I think a couple kids should be ball boys every game.
Yes.
Get the kids involved, get the parents involved, and it'll help rebuild that Carencro football of the 90s and the 2000s.
Yes, it'll help establish that relationship again with the community as well as the high school. Because, again, that'll be one of the ways in which we make football in this area better.
And if folks want to look and join, or kids want to join for next season, how do they go about finding you guys and doing that?
So they can find us in a bunch of different ways. They can find us on Facebook at Louisiana Cubs. They can find us on Instagram at Louisiana Cubs. And those are the ways in which they can find us and be up to date on the organization and things of that nature.
Wrapping up right now with Damien Handy, the president of the Louisiana Cubs. Coach, you got a big one this week. The Louisiana Seahawks, right? Is that right? Playing you guys. I know that's a rivalry. I see it on Facebook.
Yes,
Folks
sir.
going back and forth. And look, you almost like it's Carencro Acadiana, the way those guys go at each other, man.
Yeah.
So tell us about that rivalry and how big of a game it's going to be on Saturday.
Well, to my knowledge, it's been a rivalry dating back to when Rangel was with the Ravens. And it's been a rivalry spanning years. It's going to be a big one this Saturday at St. Martinville Senior High. I mean, I've been seeing all the noise and all the talk on Instagram and Facebook as well. But, I mean, all the noise cuts out when it's time to step on the field. All the noise cuts out when it's time to step on the field and buckle the chin straps. So.
Yes, sir. I appreciate your time, David. I like what you guys are doing, Coach Andy, for the youth in Carencro and building up. It's a tremendous thing, and I applaud you guys' efforts, and I know you're going to do big things.
100%. And one last thing, we are a 501c3 organization. So if anybody would like to sponsor, give to the organization, that will be tax deductible to your organization as well.
Absolutely. Reach out to Coach Handy and Company, Facebook, Instagram, all those good things, and he'll make sure he gets you in the right way. We're going to step aside when we come back. Eric Juice Tolliver, former wide receiver at Carencro and current wide receivers coach, is going to join us. He's going to talk about his career at Carencro and now being a coach and what that means to him and how his wide receivers are shaping up this season. Right here on your home for Carencro High Football, the Carencro Bears Network.
Big for the small, the short, and the tall. Peacemakers, risk takers. For the optimists, pessimists, exhibitionists. For long distance love. For the farsighted, nearsighted. For introverts and extroverts. For the thinkers and the doers. For old friends. Coca-Cola. For everyone.
Are you ready to launch your future? Welcome to the Academy of Information Technology at Carencro High School, the premier magnet academy for cutting-edge education in computer science, information technology, and media arts. Dive into a world where your interests come alive. In AOIT, you'll explore technology like never before, mastering essential skills in HTML and Python while gaining hands-on experience in daily TV production and innovative media projects. Our partnership with LSU in affiliation with the National Academy Foundation means you'll receive top-tier computer science education. Imagine leaving the academy with industry-standard credentials from Microsoft, Adobe, and CompTIA, plus a stunning portfolio that showcases your skills. Don't just dream about the future, create it. Follow your passion in tech and join AOIT today. Apply now at LafayetteChoice.com/apply. Your future starts here.
All right, Carencro fans, it's football season. That means it's time for the GP Are You With Me? Carencro Coaches Show. This season, we're bringing it live to you from a Carencro staple right here at Prejean's off of the Evangeline Thruway. We're going to be live each and every week. For Friday night games, the show's going to be on Thursday nights. For those Thursday night kicks, we'll be live on Wednesday nights, 6:30 to 7:30. You can hear it all at one place, the Carencro Bears Network.
Never been a better time to buy a new Super Duty pickup from Hub City Ford. Right now, get $7,000 off MSRP on a 2025 Ford Super Duty. Need to pull a heavy load? It's the perfect truck with best-in-class towing and torque. And it's loaded with advanced technology. And with 42 acres, Hub City Ford's got a huge selection. Save big on a brand new Super Duty. $7,000 off MSRP.
Hub City Ford, I-49 North, Lafayette.
Let's get it over, right?
It's that time of year. Spice up your Saturday Bear style. Join us for the 4th annual Bear Takedown Club Jambalaya Cook-Off. On Saturday, October 11th, from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., the flavor explodes at Pokey's Poorhouse on 115 Derrick Plaza Drive in Carencro, Louisiana. Unlimited tastings for just a $10 donation. That's right, all the jambalaya you can eat for only $10. Think you got the winning recipe? Grab your crew of 4 for only $100 and cook your way to bragging rights. Judging kicks off at 12. But that's not all. We've got a 50-50 raffle, a live and silent auction, and a rowdy cornhole tournament to keep the good times rolling. Mark your calendar, October 11th, 8 to 2. Bring your appetite, bring your friends, and bring your Cajun spirit. For more information, scan the QR code on the screen, and we hope to see you there. Let's go, Bears!
Welcome back to the GP. Are You With Me? Carencro Coaches Show, live from Prejean's on the Carencro Bears Network. I have one of my favorite players from the 2010s at Carencro. The guy played with heart, he had tenacity, and he was just a huge spark plug for the offense when he was here. Wide receiver Eric Tolliver. Coach, thanks for joining us today. Feels cool to sit here with you after, calling games that you played in. Now to watch you as a coach, it's pretty cool moment for me.
It's a self-warming moment for me also, man, because I kind of made jokes throughout my whole high school career. I felt like I would be a better coach than I would be a player just because I always felt like I was a leader. So to see myself succeed in this, I found a whole new love that I didn't know that I would have.
That's pretty cool. I mean, when you were a player, you were the guy who did everything. You weren't afraid to go out there and stalk block 100 times if that's what you were asked. If you were asked to make the big play over the top, you went out and made it. If they asked you to play defense, you stepped up and made it. So I think that kind of fits with your mantra and who you are as a person.
Yeah, well, one thing I learned early on in my career before I started to see the success that I later on had, the harder you block and the more tenacity that you play with, if you got a DB or a cornerback that's dealing with that all game, sooner or later that's going to open up the big plays and then everything is easy for you. I try to make that a focal point with my guys to just play with some heart and play with some grit. Then everything else will open up for you.
This is a different generation of kid than when you played, but you're still young enough to relate to those guys.
Yeah.
How important it is to have you and all the younger coaches there to have that relationship with the kids and get them to buy in.
Believe it or not, Blaine, it's pretty tricky for me. Sometimes I catch myself thinking I'm them and I'm thinking I'm still in their shoes. And then I take a step back and it's like, okay, I'm kind of like that bigger brother and that leader. And I can speak from a lot of experience as far as with them. And I guess for me, it's just more so I seen everything and I was a part of everything with all of this. And I try not to be too bossy with it. And I also try to make sure that I'm not as far as I know more than them or I know everything, and just try to see what they see, because you're right, it's a different time period.
Once you left Carencro, you went on and played some college football. Mm-hmm. Talk to us about that journey and how you got back to Carencro.
Yeah, I try to explain that to them all the time. JUCO is pretty easy now if you ask me. So when I left Carencro High, I went to New Mexico, and that was in the middle of nowhere, Blaine. And I did a year there, and it was a military school, and I wasn't too fond of everything dealing with that. And I kind of wanted to transfer to a school where I could focus more on football. And believe it or not, I wish I would have stayed there. Like, I liked it the more strict and everything is on point and a whole lot of rules and regulations. And I went to Coffeyville with 2 former players that I graduated with, Chase Malonsaw and Big Ken Mouton. And the journey for me was very good to look back on now, and I don't really regret anything. And as far as, like, the JUCO process, you have to really want it. And success is not given to you. You have to earn everything, and it's a lot of mornings and days where you wake up and you have to really prove to yourself, like, is this what you want? Like, do you really want to succeed in this? And you just got to go do it every day, man.
And you talked about easy JUCO. Man, JUCO's tough. I mean, it's not like you guys are, traveling on planes places. Yeah. And look, Coffeyville is one of the premier JUCO programs. Yeah. So you guys are roughing it. It's not like you have the best facilities and stuff. I mean, for you to stick through it and play through that, and, I think it speaks to you not only as a player but who you are as a person as well. So when you decided to start getting back into coaching, I guess there was no place but home, right?
Yeah. So I was actually working offshore whenever Coach Peters gave me that call, and I lit up because I needed that spark, and I always felt like the game was taken from me, and I didn't like my exit from the game. So this was like a blessing in disguise for me, and just day by day, I'm just learning to enjoy it more and more, and this is something that I always wanted to do, and I look forward to furthering my career in this lane.
Well, one of my favorite games that I've ever called as a broadcaster at Carencro was at L'Orange in the playoffs, and you had yourself a night. Without you, I don't think we could win that game. We were struggling offensively. You caught a huge pass to really springboard the offense and open things up. I know you had great moments throughout your career. Walk us through and tell us what do you remember most about being a Carencro Bear on the field?
Just that brotherhood, just that camaraderie of, like, you do your job, I'll do my job, and then everyone comes together to do that. And then once we fulfill those moments, that's the best feeling in the world. And I had a pretty tricky process with my high school career. Like, freshman year, sophomore, and junior year, it was like a chain effect. You have this guy's the guy, and you have to wait your turn, but you have to know what you're doing and learn everything. And when my senior year came, it was like all or nothing. Like, do you want to get a job next year, or are you going to make a career with this? And I had a lot of private conversations with Coach Kevin Falk at the time, and he told me, like, I believe in you and you can do everything, but you have to want it. And I just put my foot down and I got to work, Blaine, and everything worked itself out.
Well, you have a pretty good room this year that you get to coach with the wide receivers. I mean, it's led by Chance Babineau, but look, you got guys like Brandon Duffy, Kendrick Bernard, who's third all-time in receptions in the program. And, I mean, I could keep going on and on. You have a lot of weapons at your disposal. Tell us what you like about this group and how, each one brings a different element to the team.
They're all so different, Blaine. They're all different. As far as Kendrick Bernard specifically, a lot of those guys are mature upon what they know and what they understand, and I'm not used to that. Whenever I played receiver, the group that we had, we were really childish. Like, we played too much, but when it was time to lock in, we locked in. And just the group that we have, they're so special and they're so different, but they all can do the same things, and they're pretty smart players. As far as Chance Babineau, man, I feel like that's probably one of the best football players that I've seen in my own eyes and out of all the football that I've seen. And he's so humble, he's selfless. Just as far as the last game, he went the whole first half of breaking all kind of records, and then the second half, I didn't hear a peep from him. He didn't cry for the ball, he didn't ask for it, and they try to stay away from me because I jump on them a lot, and I'm pretty hard on them because I did it and I seen it, and I respect the process of it. So I try to keep that in their mental to focus on the key points of the game.
Are you saying wide receivers are prima donnas? I know a lot of people say.
Yeah.
Give me the ball, huh? Give me the ball. They all want the ball. They all feel like they deserve it. And when you got a group like that, you have to spread the wealth out. Like Coach said, we only threw the football 12 times, completed 8 passes. There's only so many footballs to go around. I believe Benji's going to be able to bring us the touchdown pass to Seabass. Jersey back in the gun, sends Taylor out. Now looking to throw the football, has plenty of time. He's going to let it fly. He's looking for Babineau across the middle of the field. It's going to be caught. Babineau gets out of a tackle. Babineau's off to the races. He's trying to get to that far sideline, and he's going to go into the end zone. Cue the horn.
Figured him out, man. To me, he's slow. I think he's super slow, but somehow they can't keep up with him. He has breakaway speed on the field, and I don't understand it still to this day. But the kid's amazing. He has great ball skills. He can catch it from all ranges. His catch radius is out of this world. And he's just a pretty tough kid. And I love him, man.
Well, E.T., I appreciate your time, man. Appreciate you coming on. I mean, you're like a natural. It seems like you've done this before.
Yeah.
We'll have to have you on again one day.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, man.
Eric Tolliver, joining us right there. When we come back, GP's going to join us. We'll start looking ahead to the new Iberia Yellow Jackets and the ball game tomorrow night, right here on your home for Carencro High Football, Carencro Bears Network.
Big for the small, the short, and the tall. Peacemakers, risk takers. For the optimists, pessimists, exhibitionists. For long distance love. For the farsighted, nearsighted. For introverts and extroverts. For the thinkers and the doers. For old friends. Coca-Cola. For everyone.
Are you ready to launch your future? Welcome to the Academy of Information Technology at Carencro High School, the premier magnet academy for cutting-edge education in computer science, information technology, and media arts. Dive into a world where your interests come alive. In AOIT, you'll explore technology like never before, mastering essential skills in HTML and Python while gaining hands-on experience in daily TV production and innovative media projects. Our partnership with LSU and affiliation with the National Academy Foundation means you'll receive top-tier computer science education. Imagine leaving the academy with industry-standard credentials from Microsoft, Adobe, and CompTIA, plus a stunning portfolio that showcases your skills. Don't just dream about the future, create it. Follow your passion in tech and join AOIT today. Apply now at LafayetteChoice.com/apply. Your future starts here.
All right, Carencro fans, it's football season. That means it's time for the GP, Are You With Me? Carencro Coaches Show. This season, we're bringing it live to you from a Carencro staple, right here at Prejean, off of the Evangeline Thruway. We're going to be live each and every week. For Friday night games, the show's going to be on Thursday nights. For those Thursday night kicks, we'll be live on Wednesday nights, 6:30 to 7:30. You can hear it all at one place, the Carencro Bears Network.
Never been a better time to buy a new Super Duty pickup from Hub City Ford. Right now, get $7,000 off MSRP on a 2025 Ford Super Duty. Need to pull a heavy load? It's the perfect truck with best-in-class towing and torque. And it's loaded with advanced technology. And with 42 acres, Hub City Ford's got a huge selection. Save big on a brand new Super Duty. $7,000 off MSRP.
Hub City Ford, I-49 North, Lafayette.
Let's get it over, right?
It's that time of year. Spice up your Saturday Bear style. Join us for the 4th annual Bear Takedown Club Jambalaya Cook-Off. On Saturday, October 11th, from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., the flavor explodes at Pokey's Poorhouse on 115 Derrick Plaza Drive in Carencro, Louisiana. Unlimited tastings for just a $10 donation. That's right, all the jambalaya you can eat for only $10. Think you got the winning recipe? Grab your crew of 4 for only $100 and cook your way to bragging rights. Judging kicks off at 12. But that's not all. We've got a 50-50 raffle, a live and silent auction, and a rowdy cornhole tournament to keep the good times rolling. Mark your calendar, October 11th, 8 to 2. Bring your appetite, bring your friends, and bring your Cajun spirit. For more information, scan the QR code on the screen, and we hope to see you there. Let's go, Bears!
Right back into action here live at Prejean's. It's Blaine Viatar and Coach Gavin Peters for the GP Are You With Me Carencro Coaches Show on the Carencro Bears Network. And, Coach, we're going to turn our attention to the new Iberia Yellow Jackets coming in tomorrow night at the Open Air Crow Dome at 0-4. But the score's a little misleading, Coach. They're able to put up some points at times. They're kind of a team that really hadn't found their groove. But, look, they put up 34 points in the opener against Pineville. They put up 28 against Como a few weeks back. I think they're a team that has a bunch of athletes out on the perimeter, and they can make plays.
Well, look, I got a lot of respect for Coach Derek Landry. Coach Landry was at Westgate when I first started here at Carencro High School, and I think he's a big part of the foundation of what they've been able to establish there at Westgate High School, and which they've continued to do over the last couple of years, and ended up winning a state championship the year after we won. I think he was also very critical with and very involved with the youth league that they have out there in Iberia Parish, which is kind of something that we're getting into now, right, as well. So just got a lot of respect for Coach, man, and he's going to do a phenomenal job, and he's already doing a phenomenal job. I'll tell you what, we played him last night in sub-varsity, man, and they got after it, man. They got after it. They actually beat us in the freshman game. So I tip my hat to Coach, and one of my best friends is the principal of the school, Emmanuel Hardy, who I was able to kind of influence and get into education. And when we were in college, I got him involved in our fraternity and actually sent an email up the chain of command to kind of get it accelerated and get him involved in faster. And he was a legend on that campus and developed a lot of relationships. So I have a lot of respect for that school. I have a lot of respect for the program, and we expect those guys to come in ready to go tomorrow, and we're not looking at their record. And, we were 0-4 last year too, so I've been there. I've been in that situation and know how close it could be to being, 0-4 to 4-0 or 3-1 or whatever the case may be. So this is a district contest. I think every game I've been involved with against New Iberia since I've been here has kind of been, going down to the wire, right?
Happen,
so we expected the same thing. We got to go out there. We got to play 4 quarters of, quality football to be able to come out with this win.
And look, it's also homecoming week. And I know that's probably something as a coach that you're not a big fan of. Is that a challenge throughout the week to keep kids engaged and focused and ready to go?
Absolutely. But I got to give Coach Corville some credit. Years ago, he started off the week by telling the kids that our responsibility is to win the football game. That's Coach Davison. Years back when I was at Acadiana, our responsibility is to win the football game. And Coach Corville, my very first year, we had an issue in which we had to suspend our starting quarterback from the game. But we just did a better job as the years went on of communicating the standards and expectations up front of what the expectations are, right? And we started that last Friday night post-game and continued it Saturday morning for film and flush, continuing it throughout the week. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed because we've gotten through 4 days without any major issues. Hopefully we can get through tonight.
Energy level's good. Kids not out wrapping houses. They focused and locked in.
No, they wrapping houses. But, it's one of those deals where.
You got to kind of live with that.
I tell them, I say, look, I ain't stupid, right? Like, I'm not going to sit up here and, I know what you guys are going to go out there and do, but don't let nothing get back to my desk. Like, if something get back to my desk, I'm going to deal with it. And I told the parents that too, so nothing's got it back to my desk so far. So,
what about this week at practice as far as the crispness? I mean, you guys have a very, very competitive atmosphere and nature to the team and the coaching staff from goal line to what y'all call it banjo, right? Bandit drill. You guys have such a competitive nature. Do the kids feed off of that? Do they get involved in the competitiveness?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yes, sir, no doubt. It's got to be something that's collaborative. It's got to be something that is a part of the culture, right? Like not something that we just say or just speak. So, absolutely, and it was very competitive again this week. Offense sucks. Unfortunately, we lost bandit drill again on Tuesday. Now I'll be honest. I create the scenarios for bandit drill. I don't put us in easy situations. I want to put us in the most difficult situations possible, in hopes that we can go out there and do it on a Friday night. And it's crazy. We hadn't been very successful in bandit drill situations on Tuesdays, but we've been extremely successful in bandit drill situations on Fridays, which are just critical situations in the game, right? 2-minute situations. Babineau's skinny post that you guys just watched, that was a 2-minute situation. That was one of our primary 2-minute calls, right? And we were able to go out there and execute it. And, I think defense won bandit drill on Tuesday and offense won goal line on Wednesday. Offense swept them 3-0. 3 drive, 3 possessions.
Well, Coach Pettis didn't say that when he sent me the Venmo to ask you about bandit.
We even gave Coach Romero, it was third and about 2 or 3. And, we ran the ball and we scored, but Coach Romero was – doing what defensive coaches usually do, right? No, he was out. I said, all right, cool. We'll run a play for you. We'll run 4th down, so then we scored again. We say, good, we scored 4 times. Little joke we got inside of the office, so. But no, I love what we got going on. We've got a great staff, and, we're super competitive. And I love what those guys have brought, to our staff, because they're uberly competitive as well. And it's been great for us. And, actually what I would like is for the kids to kind of rise up to that level too. Right now I think the coaches are a little bit more competitive than the players, and it needs to be what we're all fierce, violent competitors.
Talk to us a little bit about the game planning and installing a game plan. You guys meet, watch film. You said watch film and flush, I believe is what you guys call it.
Well, that's what we used to call it, film and flush. We actually don't really watch film with them no more on Saturdays. We just kind of come in and flush them. We flush them and we lift them and we let them get on. Just a little bit of something that we're doing to just try to have more life at the end of the season. We grind, right? We grind. We work 12 months out of the year. And, I just think that, I just learned a lot of things last year, and one of the things I wanted to do was, give the coaches a little bit more time off and give the players a little bit more time off. So, on Saturdays, the only coaches that go up is me, Coach Pettis, and Coach Dwyer. That's the head coach and the coordinators. And the only players that come up are the players that touch the field on Friday. And we run and we lift and we talk. We meet, we run, we lift, we meet, and then we we let them go. And that's been great. The kids have been great on it. So far this year, and I think it's helping us. I think it's helping us. I think it's some of the time management things that we've kind of implemented to just kind of give us a little bit more life. I've talked about how we've cut down tremendously on practice time, man. I've been so happy about that. We've cut practice time down tremendously. But once again, I just want to thank Miss Vanessa Knott, for, the job that she did of helping us get those guys here, and thank those guys for just giving us a chance. And I think we're in a pretty good situation, and the best is yet to come for us down the line.
Well, installing the game plan, so you guys go back in on Sunday as coaches, watch film, and then do you guys meet first thing on Monday and give them is there a packet that goes to the kids? How does that work?
Well, game planning is year-round, to be honest with you. It's a year-round process, and it changes. For instance, the first 3 weeks, I did not watch one clip of the opposing team until Saturday morning. Where usually in the past, especially with my involvement on the defensive side of the ball, we're talking about an hour and a half before game time on a home game, and I'm sitting there at the computer putting in data, to be ready to go for the next day. It talks about how when Nick Saban won his first national championship, he got in the taxi or the it wasn't an Uber driver back then, but he got in whatever, and he was making recruiting phone calls. So that's kind of how my life has been the last 5-6 years. But the first 3 weeks, man, I was so locked into those games versus STM, LCA, and Zachary that I didn't even touch the film of the opposing team. Well, it's a little bit different now because we're getting later into the season, so we got more games to break down, and things of that nature. So it's more of a week-long type of process. But we're a split staff now to where, offense, we've got our game plan, defense, the guys that has got their game plan. So, we kind of spend Saturday kind of putting in data and just kind of watching and getting our feels for them and discussing some things. And I go home and I kind of put all my thoughts together, and then I come Sunday morning and we meet as a staff, and we've got an agenda of things that we cover, and then once we do that, we split up and we go game plan. We actually go game plan, and I like what Coach Shane does at STM. He gets his quarterbacks up there on Sundays to game plan with them. Coach Bryce Brown at the car, they do the same, so we started doing that this year as well. So Carson comes up with us on every Sunday, and I think even now moving forward, when we move to the new facility, we'll have even more kids that come up on Sundays. And, be a part of the game plan. It's pretty cool, It started like even in the morning times, right? It started with just me and Carson, and now we got about 5 or 6 of them that are right there. We call it the Breakfast Club, and I expect it to be even more as time goes on. It's impossible to go out there and play the game the right way without knowing what to do, how to do it, and why it's important to do it that way. And the goal is for our kids to be 4D players, which means that you understand what all 22 guys on the field, you understand everything that's going on. And, we don't have enough 4D players in the program. We don't have enough 4D players in the program, but I'm hopeful that some of the things that we're doing now, like the Breakfast Club, like getting players in on Sundays to help out and be involved in the game plan, and hopefully that improves our 4D ratio.
Wrapping up right now with Coach Gavin Peters. Coach, that sounds like a busy week. We're doing some coffee. We got some Red Bull. How we staying juiced up?
Oh, man, well, we got a play that we call coffee. And, I can't tell a signal for it, but, one of the signals for it, they know that, that's GP. You know what I'm saying? That's GP right there, so.
How you take your coffee, man?
Man, black, cuz. Black, straight black like this shirt.
Would you get 2 cups, like 2 cups a day, 3 cups a day?
Oh, no, just 1 cup in the morning.
That's not too bad.
Like my grandma say in the morning, 1 cup in the morning.
That's not too bad.
And it's just more of a mental toughness thing, man, that kind of keeps me going. And I'll be honest, man, I need to do a better job of taking care of my body, what I eat, and I eat well during the day, man. It's when I go home, the anxiety and the stress, I kind of go in that pantry, man. Them Oreos just always kind of find a way to get me, the Oreos and them chips, like I've been good today, right? But I don't know what it's going to be like when I get home, I'm trying to tell my wife and my
Jenny
kids.
might cook for you or something, though,
I try to tell my wife and my kids, stop bringing all that trash in the house, if you don't bring the trash in the house, then but I get it. We got young girls, and they like to eat those things, so we got to have that in the house. But I told them, I don't know, man, do something, put a lock on the pantry, change the passcode, like something to keep me out of there. Like in 2000, I think it was 2020, 21, 22, 23. Man, I ate phenomenal, throughout the year. And I was kind of in the best shape of my life and things of that nature. Just the last 2 years, man, I've just kind of, I don't know, the stress level, I guess, it's kind of picked up a little bit, So I just need to do a better job with my diet. And if I do a better job with my diet, like I got off to a really good start like the first couple weeks. I do a better job with my diet, man. I'm rolling. I'm rolling there. I have no
energy
hiccups.
levels high.
I have no hiccups, but I got some hiccups right now. So, but it's my diet. I got to do a better job of that.
Coach, what's the challenge to the team going into homecoming game tomorrow night? What's going to be the message that you give them before you guys take the field?
Coach Franchek's got the pregame speech tomorrow. All right, so we got to ask Coach Franchek what's his message, but no, it's the same thing, man. We got to go out there and we got to play 48 minutes of Carencro football. We got to be physical, we got to be competitive, we got to be sound, we got to win a line of scrimmage. We've got to tackle better on the defense side of the ball. I think we were really good in special teams last week. Until the last kickoff. But we spent more time in that. Coach Sebo does a phenomenal job of, with lane assignments and lane integrity and things of that nature. So we've just got to play a complete game of football, offensively, defensively, and special teams. And hopefully we'll be 2-0 in district play.
I want to thank all our guests tonight, Coach Damien Handy, as well as Coach Eric Tolliver. I want to thank my guy GP. Also got to thank our guy Benji Desitel, and as well as Director Seth Dickerson of the AOIT program for making this happen. Also, thank you guys for putting up with us and listening to us each and every week. Next week, we'll be here, but it'll be Wednesday night since the Bears play on Thursday. Tomorrow, it'll be 6:45 pregame, 7 o'clock kick. We'll be right here on the Carencro Bears Network, as well as Mustang 107.1. We'll see you then. Go Bears.